All right, good morning. Tim Sykes here, pre-market video after the madness, after literally 3 days of madness already. I'm filming this just after 5 a.m. Eastern. Already we have a 200% runner in ARBB. I'll post this video pre-market. We'll see what it can do. The whole goal is watching these pre-market spikers, these early spikers, and then seeing if they have a chance to break the day high and then go truly supernova. 3 days in a row, I've picked the number one, actually like four out of the past 5 days. I picked the number one big spike, starting with GRRR, HOLO, INBS, and now BMR. And, we'll see what ARBB does later today. This isn't rocket science, okay? I'm going to include a bunch of video lessons in this video because I also filmed yesterday while BMR was going crazy. I just wanted to, film one video in real time so you could see how fast it was. I think it was being filmed right in here when it was, spiking up in the 11s. I started buying this in the 6s. Okay. I was a little late because I'm in Tokyo, not ideal right now. Hold on. I'm actually here with Lance and Lucas, and Lance is pretty much retired, but Lucas and I are like staying up at night trying to trade this craziness. And we're like, damn, like we love Tokyo. We're having a good time, but it's tough when there's so many plays running. So I apologize to everybody for being like extra crazy right now, just trying to keep up. I can't believe how many people really nailed this in the chat room. I am so proud of so many of you challenge students. I just literally wrote down a few people, and I want you at the bottom of this video to write in the comments at any time saying, I love this market, because you really should. It's not that you're really getting it. It's not that we're geniuses. It's the market. And the opportunity has always been there. It's just that the market hasn't always been this hot. And in some of the other videos I'll include in this video lesson, and I'll put them all together, you'll see me talk about this, where I have always said I want more people to study in slow markets so you can be better prepared in fast markets. When it's a fast market, everyone realizes, oh, damn, this is actually real. I should have prepared more when it was slower. It's funny, right? It's like the chicken and the egg, and people don't believe me until they see it. But then when they see it, they're unprepared. So hopefully in this market, whether you're nailing it, whether you're unprepared, the whole key is really pushing yourself to study this in real time. Study my past video lessons, DVDs, and webinars, because I'm always tracking these kinds of crazy supernovas. If BMR, HOLO, INBS, if these are your first supernovas, you haven't studied the past enough. I'm nothing more than a glorified history teacher, and I've been teaching this stuff for 15 years. I've been trading it for 25 years now. So just give a shout out to a few people. These are all in my challenge chat room. Every single one of you should get into my challenge chat room. You should get into my challenge. It is the single best chat room I know of. Obviously, I'm biased. It's my chat room, but at the same time, I see a lot of other chat rooms. I see a lot of BS from short selling chat rooms where they celebrate just not getting, annihilated. Like that's best case scenario because they just have the wrong strategy at the wrong time. Some people, they hodl, and that would have worked on BMR, but hodling is not a good strategy in the long run. I think it's probably going to be looked at in the future at some point as dangerous, if not more dangerous than cancer and smoking. But, all I can do is teach what I've learned the hard way. And shout out to G Money 2020 in challenge chat, nailed BMR, alerting it in the threes. Okay, and buying it in the threes, selling it in the threes. K-Cat buying it in the threes, selling in the fours. G-Money getting back in the fours and out in the fives. Don't worry if you sell too soon. Okay, it's all about taking singles and learning how to take singles. And remembering if you sell too soon, then you can get more aggressive later on. Baz, good job in the threes, out in the fives. Wolf Hunter, fours to the fives. Cruise Control, fives, and then the sixes. Kel B, awesome. I bolded this one because, Kel B bought, and the twos sold in the sixes. Tchaikovsky, not only is it a cool username, and I love Tchaikovsky's music, in the sixes, out in the sevens, my best trade of the year. Awesome. And again, you're getting it, but you could have already gotten it. Maybe the market just wasn't there, right? So like everyone gets encouraged when they see these big runners. It's actually funny to see how many messages I get where people are like, oh my God, this is real. I can't believe it. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. What do you think I dedicate my life to? But it's good to get it in real time. But again, it all comes down to your preparation when there's no great plays. Okay? Very similar to how I say athletes, the best athletes, train when no one's watching. There's no World Cup. There's no Super Bowl. There's no World Series. Okay? There's no Final Four. They're training at night. They're training in the mornings. They're training on weekends. That's what you have to think like. And it's not about doing cold plunges. It's not about reading all these books. It's getting specialized knowledge. Okay? You can't just do general work that all this BS, on social media I see where it's like, you're the average of your 5 friends or the 5 people you spend the time with. No, you're not. You're the average of what you study. You're the average of your dreams. You're the average of your brain. People you spend time with shouldn't influence you that much. I get it, okay? I like positive people, but that's not you. You're not the average of just people you see. Like, you're more than that. And if you are so easily influenced by others, you need to study even more and get some self-confidence and independence and self-reliance. But anyways, good job, Tchaikovsky. Also, MGIH was another one. Like, there's so many plays. ARRNF, I saw this one was a big winner. J-Ray nailed it, and also one of my latest millionaire students, Quick Bags, Andrew nailed ARRNF. I literally haven't even had time to look. ARRNF. There's just too many freaking plays right now. Wow. What a beauty. Wow. 18 to 37. This is doubling your money all inside of an hour. And this is, not just the first day too. This is the second day. So nice uptrend. Always look at big percent gainers. Okay. So you see here, it's 5:30 a.m. Eastern as I'm filming this. I got my watch list, but not doing much here. This is the big percent gainers. So we're already, seeing some big percent gainers early pre-market with volume of several million shares. If you want to start building your watch list early, watch ARBB, OMH, FAMI, BDRX, CHSN, DHAI, BMR. And this is the thing, like, these stocks get crushed after a while. Like BMR, yeah, I underestimated it. I wish that I had it, just a few minutes later into this, halt in the 8s, and then it halted in the 11s. Really, good if you're holding through this. Congrats. I would have sold it here in the 12s or the 13s. I thought that was best case scenario. But you do have to take profits, okay? You can't just hodl and expect everything to be okay. They did an offering right in here. And so it's not a surprise that the stock is down. These stocks don't deserve to go up this high. Let's not forget that. They're not good companies. They're just getting squeezed, and then there's momentum buyers. I did this video with Matt Monaco, so I'll include this video. I literally got like 5 hours of sleep, woke up and did a webinar with Matt Monaco, just talking about like NVIDIA and kind of like the strong background that's fueling all of these low price runners. A rising tide lifts all boats. You have NVIDIA, you have SMCI, you have ARM, these big, chip makers just surging for several months, and short sellers. It's funny because I'm here with Lucas and a bunch of other short sellers, and some of them are just so sad right now because they're trying to short, they're trying to pick the top on these things. And I was like, just go long, stop fighting it. But, what can you do? They're short sellers. I'm now up nearly 30,000 on the year. And again, I start with a small account every year. You saw me making like 200, 300, 500. My small account is getting bigger. And when your account gets bigger and when you have a hot strategy, you can take bigger position. I mean, literally in the past 2 trading days, it's like half my year already, right? Like 12 grand in like 2 days, basically, of trading. And I'm selling way too soon. So don't think this is anywhere near best case scenario. But I don't mind, buying this thing in the 6s, making $1 a share is fantastic. This was an even better trade. Really proud of this one because I was like, I'm not going to chase it. I'm not going to chase it in the 20s. I'm not going to chase it in the 30s. I was like, wait for the crack, wait for the crack. You should go through, my whole commentary in the chat room. You can see everything timestamped. You can see the whole archives. And I specifically called for this. And I said, wait for the crack, wait for the crack, wait for the crack. And I went over this with, Matt Monaco too. But the crack of $20 a share was so key. I love just a slight crack of a key round number, and then it can't really do much more, and they take out all the stop losses. I guarantee you a lot of newbies had stop losses at $20. That opened the door, and then, I don't usually make $4 a share. It kept going. Even by the time I sent the alert, it was in the 24s. I think it got up to like the 25s or the 26s on the bounce. I don't care. This is a fantastic trade, small position. I'm loving it. 2 trades, and I was so out of it. Mind you, this is in the middle of the night after I've had a crazy day here in Japan. So not an ideal time for me, but I take what the market gives me. Shout out to Cam. He actually came to Japan last time. He's in my inner circle. So I'm doing these trips with inner circle students. I'll link inner circle below if you want to do some trips, because, before I was just doing trips with millionaire students, but then, it's not just about making millions. Upcoming students deserve to be rewarded too. I took Cam and his awesome wife, Sophie, to Japan. And, we just did a little live trading, but he's really been on fire and he now gets it. And he made nearly $3 a share. I want you to understand this. Okay. This is such an important tweet. Don't get it twisted. I'm not the best trader, nor are any of my millionaire students the best, nor are we even that smart or good at math. Okay. And I say this in interviews. People think like I'm lying or whatever. I'm not. We're just average people. But if average people study enough, you can do exceptionally in the stock market, especially when you have a strategy that's on fire, especially when you're learning a strategy that's real, that's not risky compared to like short selling or hodling. Again, a quarter of a century of me doing this and optimizing it for you. So I'm really excited. Now nearly 30K year to date. Remember, I donate all my trading profits to charity. So this builds a new Kamigawa school. Pretty pumped. So it's awesome. This was like BMR. I mean, just going supernova. And again, I'll include the video that I did with Matt. But I got to give a quick shout out just to more people. Keto nailing, MGIH, Amanda's in the 6s, out in the 7s. Ace Trade in the 6s, CK Lee in the 6s, out in the 7s. Keto, another one, 50% in 18 minutes, $45. Don't worry about the size. Remember, my 2 8-figure students, Jack Kellogg, Tim Grattani, they were also making $20, $30, $40 in the beginning. It's good just to learn. Here's just a few more. Lunar, which is one I sold way too soon too. That was a 50% over the weekend spiker. Nick, $175. Toasties, sold from the 6s to the 8s. Karina, 7s to the 8s. Freedom, 3 to 7. Awesome job. I'm the trader, 7s to the 8s. Toasties, 6 to the 11s. Good job. 7s to the 9s by NK194. G Graham in the 8s, out in the 9s. Eastwag in the 8s, out in the 11s. What you need to understand is these guys and girls are just taking singles, and I love it. Sparky in the 7s, out in the 9s. SD Stocks in the 7s, out in the 11s. Mega Monkey, 7s to the 13s. Awesome job, Mega Monkey. Tech Street, 7s to the 9s and the 12s. SYRA is spiking big. AC Green MD made 400. Ethan, 3s to the 4s on SYRA. Nick Bork made another 300. $5 a share. You wish your settled cash settled today. It's okay. Okay. Like, you're just learning. And look at this. I can go on and on. Like, there's so many of them. Just congrats to so many of you guys. I'm so proud of everybody. Do me a favor, like, not just leave this comment at the end of this, underneath this video saying I love this market, but tweet your trades, okay? Show some timestamps, show some screenshots. Help me inspire other people. Help me show people that this is real. You don't have to hodl. You shouldn't hodl. Don't feel bad if you sell too soon. Like MGIH was a big spiker too. But what did it do? It also crashed. And it's very choppy. So remember to take profits along the way. I'll be in chat in a little bit. Congrats to everybody. I love this market. I love my students. I want more. Get into the challenge chat room. Stay tuned. That's the best chat room that I know of. And if you want to travel with me, get into the inner circle. And I look forward to seeing more of you in person and online. Let's get it, guys. Good work. All right, so BMR is halted in the 11s. I was just dip buying it in the 6s. It's nearly doubled in 40 minutes. I sold too early. I'm making this video as much for myself as I am for you. I'm way too conservative right now. I'm locking in like 1,000, 2,000 a pop on BMR, LUNR, INBS. I'm selling them all way too soon, okay? It's crazy to me how hot this market is. And, I gave a webinar over the weekend saying like, this is the time to push it. It really is. Every single day. I mean, the market's been open for 45 minutes. BMR, yes, it's doubled. INBS, nice squeeze here from, hold on, let me just show you. From the 5s to the 7s, 40% inside of an hour. MGIH, massive squeeze now from the 1s to the 4s. LUNR, back to the 6s. I was buying in the 4s, selling in the 5s. It actually opened in the 7s. So much opportunity right now. It's crazy to me. Let me just tell people, MGIH squeeze. It's insane. This is the challenge chat room. Congrats to so many people. NQuan94 on BMR in at 7, out at 9.49. Oh, look at this. Tchaikovsky says, wow, so many people in here nailing BMR. Exactly. It's amazing. Look at this. SD stocks 23D in at 7.95, out at 11.39. $1,000 profit. Great job. Let's see. There were other people too. I got to congratulate everyone. Sparky Trader in at 7.22, out in the 9s. Don't worry if you sell too soon, okay? You're just trying to learn to lock in singles. Veza in an 8.50, out at 10, holding some through the second halt. Let's see if it's going to reopen soon. I want you to understand that these are all short sellers getting squeezed, okay? These stocks don't deserve to go up that high, but this is what's possible. You see that I'm making 1,000, 2,000. I mean, INBS, I was in the freaking 3s on Friday, out in the 4s. It went to 12, okay? And I'm locking in $2,000. Just understand the upside. I mean, even when I was nailing TOP or Hollow, like, this is funny to me where I'm nailing Hollow for $2,000 and I'm buying this stock. Just wait till you see the details of this trade. This is a joke. I'm buying it in the 2s, selling it in the 3s. It went to 50 same day. Do you understand this? You see these Japanese ads? I'm trading from freaking Japan. I'm here with a bunch of traders. We're doing this awesome Japan trip together. I'm the only one trading. Everyone else is like, no trading this week. I can't ignore it. I can't stop it. There's so many plays. HKIT went, like, I think on my last 10 plays, they've gone up an average of 50 or maybe even 100% since I sold. LUNR, that was my Friday play, buying it in the 4s, selling it in the 5s. It opened in the mid-7s today. They have their launch on Wednesday. BMR, again, really good way to start the week, dip buying it in the 6s. Selling in the 7s, like, this is, pretty damn good. But not even close to compared to what's, the potential here. And that's what I want you to see. Like, I don't want you to think that my $7.5 million is best case scenario. It's really not. Just so many people. I got to congratulate a few more people. Freedom 101, BMR average in the 3s, out at 7, $100 win. Very small position, and that's fine. Tchaikovsky was in the 6s, out in the 7s. And that was me, right? Like, normally making $1 a share is really good. But in this market, there's so much opportunity. Mega Monkey was in the 7s, halted, so, now in the 11s. Karina in the 7s, out in the 8s. Toasties in from the 6s, out in the 8s. Look at this and realize the opportunity, okay? The news was already out. Let me show you. The news was right here and here. This is all pre-market. Let me show you this. This is why stocks to trade breaking news is key. Right here. This was they teamed up with NVIDIA, like the hottest company in the world. This is not rocket science. We're not predicting news ahead of time. We're just reacting to news, and we're recognizing what patterns work in the markets right now. It's just fantastic. And I want to keep this open until it restarts. Well, now here we are in the 12s. Can it get to the 13s? Yes, it can. A double, a freaking double now from my buy. Congrats to all BMR longs. Remember to take profits along the way. Solid $6 a share since my initial buy. $6 plus. Short sellers are so dumb. And I'm so grateful. I said this, right? I was like, short sellers, I can't thank you enough for your narrow-mindedness, toxicity, and stubbornness. Look at this. I mean, I can't even upload this. It's already up to the 14th. I can't even update fast enough. Are you understanding the market? When I say study hard, when I say capitalize, I'm saying this. I got to turn off this video. I got to focus. If this has a nice dip buy, I might get back in. Congrats to all longs. I love it. Stay hot, study up, be ready.
Yeah, there's a lot of traders in the chat who traded BMR today. I'm going to pull that up, actually.
I mean, you have to be a moron not to make money on this. You have to be an absolute moron. I'm sorry. It's just true. This is crazy. I'm buying this thing in the 6s. I'm a moron. I probably made the least percentage-wise.
Yeah, I know you bought in 6. Where'd you sell? You're usually
selling in the 7s. Bought in the 6, selling in the 7s. The crazy thing, though, is because I sold it in the 7s, and then, like, literally a few minutes later, it got halted. It was a fast halt, and it went straight up. I don't know if you can pull up that first green candle with the halt. You can see it. I mean, I can see it. Oh, wait, you're in charge of the chart. This, yeah, right there at 10 a.m. So I sold it like a few minutes too early. I mean, I still profited, but it's just crazy. The halt took it to the 9s. Then, I mean, it was only open for a few seconds. Then it goes up to the 11s. So if you're not even fast, if you're just there, right? Like just being there, that's the key. People seeing this. And then there was another one, NA, which I missed. Did you pull up NA? Look at that quick squeeze. I mean, there's so many of them. It was insane. It's like a fire at will kind of market. And you see it like, so this is the cool thing. Everyone's like, oh, how do you find all these? They spike so fast. Well, look at this. Okay. NA is a good example. I was busy with the other play and this is like nearly like 2 a.m. for me. So I'm already out of it, but it already began spiking. Okay. And then it got halted. And then after the halt was the biggest spike. Oh, look at John. John was in at 7, got out at 18. Like, this is stupid. These are stupid moves right now. And this is what's possible because of the strong overall market, because of an overabundance or an infestation of short sellers. I'm here in Tokyo with some of the biggest short sellers. And literally we're having like talks every night and they need therapy because they're so twisted. And I was like, you guys know you can just buy. And they literally, in their little narrow-minded brains, they can't even consider buying these plays. And I'm just like, what's wrong with you? I legit went back to the hotel last night. I was like, I have to make the market open. The market opens here in Tokyo at 11:30 at night. I'm like, I have to be there. There's going to be some play. And like, I wasn't even there pre-market for BMR. BMR had news with NVIDIA. Okay. NVIDIA is the hottest company in the world. Pull up the little news icon. Look at this. Number 7. I mean, how are people not capitalizing on this? This is why we have bad hair. There's an earlier press release. That's just a repost. Go back to the chart. I think it was, right there. That was the press release. But I mean, you got to watch for these plays every single day right now. Every single day. Look at this. They team up to accelerate adoption in the newest video standard. It doesn't matter what the news is. It's a low float company. It's spiking. If you're looking every single day and if you're prepared, this is the biggest thing, okay? Too many people miss these plays because they're scared, because they move fast, because they are scary, and it's due to lack of preparation. 90% of traders lose, and I say that's 100% due to lack of preparation. That's why we're doing webinars like this. This is why Matt and I have bad hair. We don't have time to do our hair. We don't have time for anything. We're trying to prepare you guys. It's like there's a war going on and too many people don't realize it. But instead of life and death, this is financial success. And you can achieve it. This is actually a good war for once.
I love it. There's one person in the chat that said BMR did an offering.
Yes.
And I think he's a short seller because I want you to explain, like, I personally don't care that they just did an offering. It already ran to 35. What do you mean? Like,
so here's the thing. I used to be a short seller. I made millions of dollars short selling. There's nothing wrong with short selling in some markets. In markets like these, you will get annihilated. You're literally taking the single most dangerous strategy. And a lot of short sellers, you might hear the phrase like, don't sell yourself short. It's where you underestimate yourself. But selling a company short is where you're underestimating or betting against the company because you think that the company is crap. You look at that press release with NVIDIA and you say, no, NVIDIA is not quoted. This is not a good company. They're going to do something. They're going to do an offering. Maybe they're not a good company. Maybe NVIDIA doesn't even know. They did do an offering, right? Where they're raising money at discounted prices after they pump their own stock. Very morally ambiguous. But it doesn't matter, right? You have all of these, logical arguments that say that these companies shouldn't go up, that these stocks are just going to go down, and they do go down eventually. I mean, it went from the 30s back down to the single digits same day too. So it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, there's just so much more upside. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is on a tear just the past few months from the 400s to the 700s. They just surpassed Amazon as one of the biggest companies, and they only have like 1/20th the revenue of Amazon, but they're just growing so fast. So short sellers try to make these logical, value-based arguments that just don't fly in markets like this. Pull up SMCI also. SMCI is another new AI chip play, and this has just been on fire. Look at this. Look at this. They reported good earnings in the 300s, and now it goes to the 700s. This is a giant company. This is a short squeeze. Pull up ARM. ARM is another one. This is another chip maker. This thing was up 40%. Like, giant companies don't go up 40%. Like, this is an insane market. Okay? So I just need you to understand that this is a very special market. That's why Matt and I don't care about our bad hair. We're going to call this the bad hair webinar. I'm barely awake. Matt's hair looks terrible. My hair looks terrible. It doesn't matter. We can deal with our hair when the market's not this hot. We can shave it off. We can buy new hair. We can do whatever we want. That's freedom, baby. That's why we're doing this webinar.
This BMR trade that you had, it was a great one. Textbook. Why did you buy it? You broke down some of the reasons, but I'd love to just get in your head. What's your game plan here? Explain to everybody.
So, for me, I mean, go to my Profitly. It's all out there. Literally, I sent it out. I even put it as a Catalyst X because they had the breaking news. It's just a big low float runner. I thought that it could go back to the highs. I bought it in the 6s. It had already hit the 8s. Very simple thesis. Dip buying a low float runner on a solid like 25% dip off the highs. The goal is to sell back at the highs. And it didn't go back to the highs real quick. Frankly, a better thing would have been to be like, okay, I'm going to hold this for longer. Unfortunately for me, I am in Japan, so it's not great trading hours for me here. I was already like out of it. This was after dinner. But I'm just dip buying a big runner off the highs, expecting it to go back to the highs. I actually had a better trade. I made double what I made on the dip. I don't know if you can see it. Let me get the exact things. This was actually one of my best trades in quite a while because this is the thing. It's not just one trade. Like some people are like, oh, okay, Tim, I'm going to learn. I'm going to make one trade. It's not. It's learning a whole framework. So I actually did better after the big run up. It actually went to, oh, this is my first, go back to my first trade. This is the trade that I'm going to explain in a second. This was my second trade, buying it in the 19s. Some people will be like, what are you talking about? Go to the first BMR trade where I made like 1950. Yeah. So this is just simple. Look, I said dip buying this big runner on deal with NVIDIA. It's up a lot, but it already hit the eights. So the key is dip buying, not chasing. Goal is to sell into a 5 to 10% bounce. It was a pretty simple thesis, and it played out. And normally making $1 a share is really good for me. But it's funny that it, had $30 of upside and I took 1/30th. But go to the second trade. I'm prouder of the second trade because if you understand the 7-step framework, if you understand the market that we're in. So I was warning when it was in the 25, 26s, 30, 32. I'm like, don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. It will crack. Go back to the chart. Not the hair, the chart. Good. So it goes all the way up to the 35s, and then it crashes. This is the classic number 4 crash from my 7-step framework. And at this point, I want to dip buy. But again, remember, you got to keep it in perspective. This stock has come up from under 5. So I know some people are trying to dip buy it at like 30, 29, 28, and they're like, oh, it's a little dip off the highs. When you get this massive blow off top, you don't want to just dip buy it randomly. But I do want to dip buy it. And so I was in the chat room, it's not just good enough to look at the alerts. You got to think about the whole mindset, the process. And this is why I'm giving commentary in the chat rooms. I was like, I'm not dip buying. I'm not dip buying. I'm not dip buying. It gets halted. Zoom in on this. It actually got halted. I almost bought it right on that first green candle. Where was it? That I almost bought it there, but then I was like, no, it still looks a little stuffy. I really like it when key round numbers crack. And that's why I was waiting for $20 a share to crack. That was the entry. So if you're looking on the breakout, you're looking for like a 20, 25% dip off the highs. That gives you some nice upside if it breaks out in the beginning. On the dip, you want a giant crack. If you're going to get a giant supernova, you want a giant crack. You want a giant panic, and then a bounce. And go back to my trade. This was one of my best trades. This is, mind you, this is like at 2:33 in the morning. So I'm already like so out of it. But I can't like say no. I only got a partial fill because it was pretty quick. But I was buying it on the crack of 20. And then even as I was writing this, it was up to the 24s and 25s. But, when's the last time you saw me make $4 a share, Maddie?
A long time, man. A long time.
But that's the thing, right? So if you miss the breakout, but you know the 7-step framework, you can buy the dip. And there was even a good dip. I mean, I'm just waking up right now, but there was a massive dip after hours, even with the offering, and it bounced from 10 to 15 late day. Like, look at this bounce late day, right? So it starts coiling right here when it breaks the afternoon high. You can buy that. Look at that one green candle. I already see it right there, right? If I had been up, I mean, mind you, this is a terrible, terrible time. This is like 8 in the morning for me after I go to bed at like 5 in the morning. It's just stupid trading from Japan. But like you can clearly see there's an uptrend. And actually Jack Kellogg was just messaging me. He made 50 grand on this. He missed the morning. I was like, dude, where's your watch list? He's giving watch lists for challenge students. He delivered me the watch list. And he missed the morning on BMR. But because he knows the 7-step framework, he just made 50 grand buying it in the afternoons. Let me see. What was his entry? I literally just woke up to this text. He said, got BMR long, roughly 10, made 55 grand. And he did like a little smiley face.
Jack's crazy. You want to tell Jack's story in case some people don't know it? I pulled it up as a Yahoo Finance article.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Kellogg was a former valet. He's parking cars for other people. He sees my videos. He starts to say, you know what? I don't want to park cars for other people. Side tip, Jack Kellogg has now made, over $12 million. But I invited him to my villa in Positano 2 summers ago. Matt Monaco was there. And I had Jack Kellogg try to park my car because I was like, dude, you're like a professional valet. And it's a tough narrow,
Wrecked
windy
it.
road, and he dented my BMW rental.
Denting is an understatement. He
He
wrecked
dented
it.
it. He missed it. And I was like, good thing you've made millions stock trading because you can't park cars anymore. You've lost your humble roots. Anyways, he was parking cars for other people, studying my videos in between parking, and, saved up, joined the challenge, got very dedicated, and, now over $12 million. Can't park cars.
Can't park cars. That's
Do you have a picture? Do you have a picture of that?
I can pull it up here. This is the Yahoo Finance one. His one on Business Insider. Basically the same article. There's Jack. Yeah.
No, I'm saying pull up the picture of the dented car. I don't care about this other stuff.
I don't have a picture of the dented car now.
You should have it. You should talk with Pascal. I like that. I was roasting him. His face got beet red. I was like, you're a professional valet and you can't even park this car, and he's making excuses. For all of those who thought that Jack could do it, look at this. We have visual evidence. Let's see. Let's get in his face. Let's be like Joe Rogan to Conor McGregor. What happened? What happened, valet? I left my car in your hands. What is this?
No, it's just comes right off. See?
Oh, look at that. And I'm like, yo, it's a very good thing, that you're a good stock trader now, because you would be fired from your valet job.
Yeah. What never ceases to amaze me. I know you've seen these for a decade, but like BMR reminds me of stocks I used to see back in 2017, 2018, like during the first Bitcoin crazy run, and then the COVID runners. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Anytime the market heats up, and I'd say the market, I mean, it's hotter right now than it's been in years. Not that it was cold, but it's just very hot right now.
What you have to understand is that we're hitting new highs again. Okay, so the U.S. is just amazing. It's all about recognizing that when the market hits new highs, amazing things are possible. And the U.S. kind of has like this invisible hand helping it over the past, century. I mean, the U.S. is the most successful, wealthiest country to have ever existed on the face of the earth. So, anti-American haters be damned, because we just keep hitting new highs. Like China's crumbling. Europe is up nicely too, but not as much. We're just leading the world. And now, like Nvidia and AI, I mean, America is clearly the leader now, with Apple and Google. So we're innovating, we're hitting new highs, and a rising tide lifts all boats. And so you start seeing these kinds of crazy potential moves when you hit new highs, when this invisible hand, helps out America. And we're just brushing up against it. Like it was a sad 2022. It wasn't a great 2023. Oh, type in BOF too. There was another play. There's so many plays popping up, and I was like, I don't have enough fingers. BOF and RNLX too. There were so many plays. Look at this. Look at RNLX.
Yeah, I missed this one. I didn't even see this one.
Dude, because they're all popping, and it's like we just need to train people to like capitalize. Did you see NA? Did I tell you to pull up NA?
Yeah, I was pulling up HOLO too, Holo, because that kind of.
Pull up MGIH. Did you see MGIH?
Yeah, I had that one pulled up. That was really good one today too.
Like this is 2 to the 9s inside of like 3 hours. Okay, so a lot of people are watching this and they're like, oh, I have a job, or like all it takes is seeing this. And I know that people are skeptical, but like seeing is believing. Andrew, who previously was my newest millionaire, but now David is. I already have 2 new millionaires in 2024. But Andrew actually like was a nail salon. I don't know what the name. What is it? What's it called? Like if you work at a nail salon,
a technician.
A nail technician? Is that a good way of saying it? So, Andrew is a nail technician. Go to my Instagram real quick. Pull up a picture of me, Andrew, and his family. They're Vietnamese immigrants, the sweetest family ever, and they own a nail salon in Ohio. And he was working at the nail salon, giving manis and petties admitting that like sometimes in the between of petties, like he would go in the back and like make a trade. If you go to my Instagram, yeah, there you go. This is them, and they actually eat more than me too, which is crazy. They're much smaller in stature, but they ate more than me. And apparently, the mom was making fun of me in Vietnamese because she was like, she saw how little I was eating compared to him or them, and she said like in Vietnamese, like I thought this guy eats a lot, and they were just embarrassing me, which was a crazy little side story. But Andrew, the reason why I bring him up, he's not just a millionaire now. But also he didn't understand it in the beginning, right? Like at the start, he was trading small, as I always say, trade small in the beginning when you don't know what you're doing. But he was like losing his like, a few $100s on like $1,000. But I said, what made you keep going? Because he lost like, I think he had like 3 or 4 $1,000 accounts. And I was like, what made you keep going? You keep losing, like this is hard-earned money. But he kept seeing the patterns happen. And even if he was off, sometimes he was too early, sometimes he was too late, sometimes it would move too fast and he missed it. No matter what, he saw it happening. And that's what you guys have to see. It's all well and good for me to talk about BMR and MGIH and Hollow and all these amazing plays right now. But when you see it live and people start to say, oh my God, this is real. There's like a light bulb moment because people realize that this is real. This is why we can give these webinars with bad hair. We don't have to be polished. We have the stocks. The stocks are what matter, and that's kind of like the beauty, I say, of being real in this industry full of fakes, because there's a lot of fakes out there that don't teach specific patterns. They might teach you like the basics and you get like a general sense of like, okay, this is the bid and the ask, but you don't really have that secret, that special, dare I say, formula or framework. Because the beautiful thing is that we're not just talking about stocks that go up so much. It's recognizing that this happens again and again and again, realizing that if it's replicable, you can start trading it again and again. And after a while, you can start trading with size. The same trades that I did, go back to my latest trades. The same trades I did on BMR can be done with 10 times the size, okay? You see this. I'm making $3,000 plus in just a few minutes. That's awesome. But I had less than 1,000 shares. Granted, it was moving fast. Granted, it's in the middle of the night for me, so I'm not in an ideal situation. But you could have taken, let's say, an 8,000 share position. This is how Jack Kellogg makes $55,000 on the same stock after missing the whole morning, but he takes bigger size. But I do not encourage anyone to take big size in the beginning. I encourage you to start learning right now, taking small size so that you can build up a foundation of experience, then sizing up later. But this is how I create millionaires, with small size, with hot stocks over and over and over again.
I love it. I know you got to get going here soon, but
I like that Bonnie just said no one has ever really explained it much before. I appreciate what you all do. We appreciate you, Bonnie. I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you dealing with our bad hair. It's embarrassing. I didn't know Matt's hair was going to be this bad. I didn't know my hair was going to be this bad, but literally it doesn't matter. We don't have time to do our hair.
It's true. For Bonnie and everyone else, right? If there's one thing you could say before you got to get going, like what is the one piece of advice, the one thing that you can tell them to do, that they should do, that your students have done, that can help them start?
Start now. Get into the challenge. Study now. Start your education now, because you are missing, okay? This is a game of catch-up. This game is being played with or without you. These opportunities will happen with or without you. Click that link that Matt just posted with the challenge. This is where all my millionaires come from. Start now. Start today. Start yesterday. You don't have time to waste, because, again, you have to learn this. You have to put in the time. You have to see these real time. Even if you miss the first one, you miss the second one, you miss the third one, you miss the fifth one, you got to start now. And some people say, oh, okay, I'll start later. Oh, this sounds interesting. It's not this little thing. If you're going to change your life, you have to make life-changing decisions. It can't just take small, decisions. Some people are like, oh, I want to get fit, so I'm going to, walk 10,000 steps. You're not going to get fit walking 10,000 steps in the day, okay? It might make you feel good. You might be like rewarded online from these, BS generalized, information people online. But the biggest money that you will make in the stock market is in the smallest details. And you need to learn the overarching strategy to get to those small details so it makes sense. If you want to truly get fit, you don't just do some little basic 10,000 steps. That's a step in the right direction, but you're not going to get like so amazingly fit with some general fitness. It's the same thing with trading. You're not going to get very rich if you just half-ass it. So you got to take this seriously. And once you get into the challenge, there's a whole curriculum. There's a list of DVDs, webinars, video lessons. We got special chat rooms. You got special mentors. We got so much, and it's really in your face. And some people say it's overwhelming at first, and I say that's good. It's always most frustrating, most overwhelming in the beginning, but you start learning. And the cool thing about the challenge is you take your time. All my millionaire students, none of them made it in year one. Okay. None of them made millions. It's not like money raining down on you, like from the heavens up above. It's knowledge raining down from my videos and Matt's videos and everyone's videos to you. And then you can take that knowledge and then build a foundation. And then you're better prepared on every single trade. That's why I can trade half awake, because I've been doing this for a freaking quarter of a century. But you need to start now. That's not optional. You need to start studying now. You need to start preparing now. Doesn't matter if you know anything. Doesn't matter how much money or how little money you have. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. All that matters is you start learning and you start playing this game of catch up, because far too long this game has been played without you and you haven't gotten your piece.
Well said, Tim. I know you gotta go, so I'll let you hop off, and I can walk them through the process, because I'll walk them through that link.
Help them, Matt. Help them. You're a freaking
That's what I'm here for.
Example. Matt was in college when he started seeing the videos. We created a 30-day boot camp together. He was up like 50 grand. Now he's at 2 million. Okay. So like, this is the cool thing. I can talk about it because I did this, seemingly impossible thing from a few thousand to a few million, but that was like 2 decades ago. Matt Monaco just graduated college, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago. Time flies. That's crazy. I remember changing your diaper when I was in Austin last time. That's another story for another day. But look at him getting all embarrassed. He remembers that. It was a bad number two. Bad number 2, little boy. But it's okay. I don't have to change his diapers anymore. And, he's a millionaire and he can explain everything to you.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, Tim. Let me walk you through the process.
One quick comment from Bonnie. She says, sometimes my brain feels like it's going to explode from everything I'm learning. That's good. Okay. That's when you know you're learning. And it's not like this is rocket science. What you have to understand is that these are replicable patterns and they happen again and again and again. And it's just weird lessons. They're counterintuitive lessons. So start learning. Listen to Matt. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Tim.